pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody, to our Board of Elections meeting. I'm actually thrilled to see so many people interested in your local government. It's great to see. Thank you for coming. We're meeting today regarding approval of a question that will be on the ballot in November regarding Highland Township's form of government. We've received correspondence from attorneys on both sides of the issue, and we've invited our solicitor, attorney Tom Wagner, and because he is much more learned on these issues than I am, I'm going to turn the agenda over to him.
Well, thanks for the compliment. I don't know that it's well deserved. Yes, as Jan pointed out, the Board of Elections has received a letter from Attorney Bevavino on behalf of the Highland Township Supervisors requesting that the Board of Elections disqualify the ballot question. And in response to that, we also received a letter from the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund in opposition to that letter. So the preliminary determination to be made by the Board of Elections here is whether or not the board itself has jurisdiction to do anything about this issue. Our preliminary research indicates that the election code does not give the Board of Elections jurisdiction to disqualify this question. Generally speaking, the jurisdiction of the board is limited to a facial examination of the proposed ballot question. Does the question on its face meet the standards of the law in form? And that's what appears to us is the limit of the board's jurisdiction. So before the board entertains this question about what should be put on the ballot, I think the board would like to hear from the attorney for the township supervisors or from the supervisors themselves as to why they think that the board has jurisdiction to do anything in response to their letter. So I don't know whether there's someone here representing the supervisors. Is there?
I am a township supervisor.
Okay.
I'm not sure why Mr. Bellevino's not here.
Okay.
Other than that, I can't answer any questions that you asked. We're going on his advice.
Okay. And is there anyone else from the supervisor's side that can address this question? I assume you folks are from the
Community Environmental Defense Fund.
Okay. Would you like to comment just singularly on this issue of jurisdiction?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. My name is Natalie Long. I'm an attorney with the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund. And as you noted, it is our position that under the Home Rule Code, under Section 2926, the sole duty of the election board at this point is to look at the question and to put it on the ballot. It seems to be a non-discretionary mandatory duty for the board to approve the question so that the voters can vote on it at the November election. And so our interpretation is in line with yours.
I would point out to the Board of Elections that there is a not well-defined process in the election code for filing objections to a nominating petition or a petition of this sort, and that section 2937, says that objections to those kind of things are to be addressed to the Court of Common Pleas rather than to the Board of Elections. So at this point in time, if there's no other argument to be heard on this jurisdictional issue, then it would be up to the Board of Elections to decide that
Make
issue.
a decision. I would entertain a motion to call for an executive session for discussion.
And I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Vote on that motion, and then we'll go into executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, probably
Thank
with
you.
all these people here.
Easier
Maybe
for
we
us to
should
move.
go. It'd be easier.
We won't come back.
Yes, we will.
Hang in there.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I'd like to reconvene the meeting at 11:15. We called executive session to determine what our jurisdiction is as the Board of Elections. And so I'll refer back to Attorney Wagner to give that explanation.
Thank you. In the discussion in the executive session, we talked about what is the role of the Board of Elections in dealing with those objections that were filed by the township supervisors. And it's very clear under the law that the Board of Elections does not have any jurisdiction to consider the objections of the township supervisors on their merits. The board is limited to determining whether or not the question is in proper form and that all of the procedures that are necessary to be followed in order to place that question on the ballot have in fact been followed. And we'll discuss that in just a couple of minutes. So it was my direction to the board that they do not have jurisdiction to consider the supervisor's objections. Because of that, the board is not today going to take any public comment about those objections that were raised by the township supervisors. There is another venue for that, and that is in the Court of Common Pleas. If the supervisors intend to pursue those objections, they will need to file something with the county court in order to have those objections considered. At that time, there would be an opportunity for those in favor of or opposed to those objections to come forward and be heard by the court. So we're not going to consider, whatever your feelings might be, either for or against what the supervisors are saying, this board can't do anything about that, and they're really not going to listen to those things today. So, and by doing what the board is doing today, the board is not expressing any position on the merits of what the supervisors have objected to. That is not for this board to express those objections or express its opinion on those objections. So what the board is doing here should not be taken as being opposed to or in favor of those objections, either way.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your explanation. I'd like to introduce now our elections director, Kimberly Fry.
Good morning.
Kim has, thank you for calling this meeting
Thank
today
you.
and for getting everybody notified. Kim is going to read the question as it was submitted and as it will appear on your ballot.
The question was submitted August 31st, 2016 at 2:20 in the Elk County Elections Office. And the question will be placed on the ballot as follows. Highland Township question. A yes vote will mean the adoption of the proposed Highland Township Charter in its entirety. If approved, the charter will take effect immediately upon approval by the electors of the township. A no vote will reject the charter in its entirety, and the township will continue to be governed by the Pennsylvania Second Class Township Code. Official home rule question. shall the Home Rule Charter contained in the report dated August 30th, 2016 of the Township Government Study Commission prepared in accordance with the Home Rule Charter and option plans law be adopted by Highland Township, yes or no? That is the question to be placed on the November 8th, 2016 presidential general election ballot.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Okay, I would entertain a motion at this time to place the question, since it's been properly presented and in a timely manner, on the ballot of November 8.
So moved. And I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any comment for the good of the order?
I would like to make one comment too, so the public is aware that the board's approval of this question to be placed on the ballot is not an expression of the board's own position as to whether or not the question is a valid one or an invalid one,
That's
or as
correct.
to what the Highland Township electorate should do, whether approving it or disapproving this. Correct?
Thank you. Yes, this simply means that the rules were followed, the question was submitted in a timely manner, and that we cannot refuse to put the question on the ballot because it was done correctly, just to clarify. Okay. With no further comment, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.